remember the day she told me she was getting promoted. Her eyes glowed with a kind of light I hadn't seen in years. But what I didn't realize was that same day, she'd already decided I didn't fit into her new life. She wore her best navy suit that morning. Her hair was perfectly pinned, her perfume subtle but expensive. As she adjusted her earrings in the mirror, I smiled and said, "You look incredible, Emma. You're going to nail this." She didn't even look up. "Yeah," she said, distracted. "It's a big day." It was. For both of us, though for very different reasons. The beginning of the end. Emma and I had been married for 9 years. We met in college. She was ambitious, brilliant, the kind of woman who could walk into a room and make everyone pay attention. I was quieter, more grounded. I loved that about us. She was the spark, I was the steady hand. When we got married, she wanted to build careers first, kids later. I supported her every step. Late nights, stressful deadlines, even when she took extra projects just to impress her boss, Victor Hayes. I didn't think much of him at first. Victor was older, charming, and always seemed to praise Emma in ways that felt too personal. "Emma's a star," he'd tell me at office parties. "She's got something special." I used to feel proud hearing that. Until I noticed the way his eyes lingered a little too long. The distance. It started small, Emma coming home late, brushing off questions with, "Just another work dinner," or "Victor needed the report finalized." Then she stopped taking her ring to work. One night, I came home early and found her in the living room, sitting in the dark with her laptop open. When she realized I was there, she jumped. "Didn't hear you come in," she said quickly, slamming the laptop shut. I noticed her hand trembling slightly. "What's going on, Em?" I asked. She sighed, forcing a tired smile. "Nothing. Just stress. I'm close to a big promotion. I can't screw it up." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But deep down something had shifted. She wasn't mine anymore, not fully. The day everything fell apart. The morning of her promotion, she was radiant. She kissed me on the cheek, just the cheek, and said, "Wish me luck." "Always," I said. That evening, I bought a bottle of champagne and her favorite takeout to celebrate. I even lit candles, thinking maybe this would be the night we'd reconnect. But when she came home, her face was expressionless. I stood up, smiling. "So, how'd it go? Did you get it?" She set her purse down, looked at me, and said words I'll never forget. "I got it. And I'm leaving you." For a moment I thought I misheard. "You're what?" "I'm filing for divorce, Daniel." Her voice was calm, almost rehearsed. "This isn't working anymore. I've been unhappy for a long time. I can't pretend anymore." The champagne cork slipped from my hand and rolled across the floor. "Unhappy?" I whispered. "Because of what?" "I've supported you through everything." "That's just it," she interrupted, her tone sharp. "You've supported me. Like a fan. Not a partner. I need more than that." I just stared. "You mean Victor, don't you?" She flinched. That was all the confirmation I needed. Her silence hit harder than any confession could. A divorce. She moved out 2 days later. No tears, no hesitation. Just a cold efficiency that made it clear she'd been planning this for months. I tried to keep my dignity. Signed the papers. Gave her what she asked for. The apartment, the car, even some savings. Everyone told me I was a fool for not fighting harder. But honestly, I was too numb to care. She looked so confident at the hearing, like she'd already moved on. She wore a new outfit, new perfume. She even smiled when Victor texted her mid-proceedings. The last thing she said to me before walking out was, "You'll thank me one day." We were holding each other back. But weeks later, when I saw a photo of her and Victor on LinkedIn, celebrating her promotion together, his arm around her waist, I realized she hadn't just left me. She'd replaced me. A fall. The first few months after the divorce were brutal. Every room felt haunted by her. Her favorite mug, her books, the faint scent of her perfume on the pillow. But pain is a strange teacher. It doesn't just break you, it rebuilds you piece by piece. I started running again. Joined a gym. Threw myself into my work, a small tech startup I'd founded a year before things fell apart. For a while I didn't think I'd make it. But something inside me shifted. That quiet, tired version of me that had always lived in Emma's shadow started to disappear. By the end of the year, my company landed a major client. Then another. Investors started calling. Suddenly, the same people who once pitied me were congratulating me. And for the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about Emma. The twist of fate. Almost 2 years later, I ran into her by accident. Or maybe fate just wanted to have some fun. It was at a corporate charity gala downtown. I'd been invited as one of the event sponsors. My company had just crossed the $10 million valuation mark. As I mingled with clients, I heard a familiar laugh. That same melodic sound I'd once fallen in love with. I turned and there she was. Emma. But she wasn't the same. The spark in her eyes was gone, replaced by a kind of restless anxiety. She looked thinner, tired. The man beside her, Victor, was talking to someone else, barely acknowledging her. When she saw me, her expression froze. "Daniel," she breathed like my name hurt to say. "Wow, it's been a long time." "It has," I said evenly. "You look well." She gave a tight smile. "You too. I've been hearing things about your company." "Congratulations." "Thank you," I replied. "We've been lucky. Hard work pays off, I guess." There was an awkward pause. Then she said softly, "I didn't realize you'd become so successful." "I didn't either," I said. "Losing everything has a funny way of showing you what you're really capable of." Her face fell slightly. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Daniel. I just thought I was doing what was best for me." "And did you?" I asked, tilting my head. She hesitated, glancing at Victor, who was now laughing with a group of younger executives. "He's not the same man I thought he was," she admitted quietly. "After I left, things changed." She stopped herself. "It doesn't matter." "It matters to you," I said. "But not to me." "I'm actually grateful, Emma." "Grateful?" she repeated, confused. I smiled faintly. "You set me free. I just didn't know it at the time." She stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. "You've changed," she whispered. "Yeah," I said. "Pain tends to do that." The downfall. A few months later, I heard through mutual contacts that Victor had been forced out of the company after an internal investigation into financial misconduct. Apparently, promotions and bonuses had been distributed unfairly, including Emma's. The new management cleaned house. Emma lost her job. She tried to start consulting, but her reputation was tainted. Rumors spread fast in that world. I didn't take pleasure in her downfall. At least, not at first. But when she emailed me out of the blue, a short, tentative message saying, "I'd love to talk sometime. Maybe catch up," I didn't reply. Not out of anger. Just peace. She had chosen her path. And I had finally chosen mine. The full circle. 6 months later, I was standing on the balcony of my new apartment, the one overlooking the city skyline, when I got a letter. A handwritten one, in her familiar cursive. It said, "Daniel, I've had a lot of time to think lately. I was wrong about everything, about what I wanted, about what mattered. I thought success would fill the emptiness, but it only made it worse. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I threw it away because I thought I deserved more. I see now I already had everything. If you can forgive me, even a little, I'd like to meet. Not to ask for anything, just to apologize properly. Emma." I read it twice. Then I folded it carefully and placed it in my drawer. I never replied. Not because I hated her, but because I finally understood something she never did. Sometimes, closure isn't about reopening old doors. It's about locking them for good. A year later, I got married again. To someone who met me after the storm, when I was no longer the man trying to be enough for someone else. Her name is Claire. She doesn't need me to be her hero, just her equal. And every time I see her smile across the breakfast table, I think about that promotion day. The day Emma thought she'd outgrown me. But in the end, it wasn't her rise that defined our story. It was her fall, and my rise from the ashes she left behind. Because sometimes, losing the wrong person is the only way to find the right version of yourself. And that was her biggest mistake.